Welcome to Divisive Issues bonus episode, and today we're going to be talking about something very different but very important to DC's comic history.
Wait, very important?
Yes. For some reason, I don't know why, DC fucking loves gorillas. Every single DC superhero, I think, has gorilla enemies. Like, Flash has Gorilla Grodd, Superman has Titano,
there's the Ultra Humanite.
also Humanite, that's Superman 2.
Isn't there a Gorilla Nation?
Yeah.
It's a Gorilla Nation.
So
And the Silver Age always has, every time they want to hype up a comic, they'll have, like, here's a gorilla doing this crazy, wacky thing. I don't know why. They fucking love gorillas at DC. It's a thing they did.
yes.
So, I want to touch upon this very important part of DC's history because it influenced so much of The Flash and Superman that they have to fight gorillas all the time because of this shit. And we're going to talk about Strange Adventures, an anthology series about strange gorilla shit, apparently.
I have to tell you, this is like one of my favorite covers.
So, okay, before we get into it, I just want to say Strange Adventures 75 from December 1956.
Yes.
And it's written by Otto Binder and penciled by Carmine Infantino, who did the Caveman Batman issue last month.
Yeah, he's a very prolific writer.
So this cover has a gorilla with a pistol in one hand and an open bag in another, pointing it at a woman who looks like she's at the library. And he's thinking, not talking, "You will now put those books inside this valise. When I read these 3 novels, I can conquer the world." And the 3 books she's holding are Treasure Island, Robinson Crusoe, and Moby Dick.
So, before we get to it, what did you guys think this plot was going to be?
I had no idea.
I had no idea.
The thing is, with those 3 novels, is like the only things you know. It's like you're trying to think, how do you conquer the world? Like, I was trying to think, it's like, he's obviously going on a sea voyage or something.
I figured it was something like I won't say it because I basically guessed what it was, but look into it.
Oh, look at Genius Sly over
Yeah,
here.
he can look at gorillas with guns and know what they're thinking. So this starts out with
The story secret of the Man-Ape.
Stupid
God.
story.
It starts out with the first page with a gorilla in a cage and a guy pointing a big laser gun at him. Yeah. And he's saying, "If my machine works, I'll be able to transform this gorilla into a human." And the gorilla's thinking, "It better work, or my plan to conquer the earth will fail."
And like the previous commentary, this is immediate res. It's a flash forward.
Yeah. So then we get to the actual beginning where these humans, human-like people on another planet.
No. First, it starts with humans saying the light from that bright star took 100,000 years to cross space to our eyes. For all we know, the star may have exploded and no longer exists.
Yeah, just what scientists always say.
Yeah,
the light from that star took 100,000 years to cross space to our eyes.
Yeah, and then it comes to the aliens,
Coincidentally,
which are looking on that star. They're looking through their own telescope at Earth, and they say that star's like took ages to reach our eyes. If it still exists, we must conquer the 3rd planet outward from the sun. And they realize it's like, oh, there's gorilla people on that planet right now 100,000 years ago, and they say they must still be ruling it right now.
So now they're not just gorilla people. They are looking at this scene of Earth where there are gorillas wearing pants and shirts and going into buildings.
Yeah. So, I actually, when I was reading this earlier, Chrissy was asking me about.
Oh, there's historical precedent. 100,000 years ago, there were gorilla people in buildings.
And I was saying, I was giving her this rundown. I'm like, yeah, they saw Earth 100,000 years ago, and they were gorilla people. And she's like, oh, like evolution. And I'm like, no, like, they're wearing pants. Like, they're going inside buildings. They are literally just humans, but they are gorillas instead. And
I have to clarify it's not evolution. Like, this is what man evolved from.
she thought, like, they saw, like, oh, gorillas in the, and then she's, by the time they got here, we had evolved or something.
But I just find it funny that humans first got the technology, then they evolved into human beings afterwards. They were gorillas first, then became human beings afterwards, after the technology started.
I think, weren't the gorillas like another different branch? Like...
I think it's supposed to be like they were like like Star Wars, like in the galaxy far, far away before our current era, like even was a thought.
Yeah.
But this is right here, though. It's not.
Yeah, but I mean, it's supposed to be some idea like Earth is kind of like on a cycle where things repeat. But...
So now, do you think that we built our technology off of what the gorillas had created, or was there an extinction event?
There had to be an extinction event because we have no records of this.
But what not even one building or anything survived. Like there's no.
Maybe it's one of those things
this.
where they developed so fast technologically, where they had such crazy technologies that they were able to erase themselves from time.
Or maybe
that must
maybe
be
this is canon of DC, and this is the gorilla silly from the modern era.
Yeah. What?
Probably not. It's probably not that one. So before they head out to go conquer Earth, the humans on this other planet are like, let's transform you into a gorilla so that when you get there, you'll fit in.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, they said the planet might already be exploded. But we can also make the assumption that it is exactly the same.
Also, these guys have a vehicle that takes days just to get there. It's like, why not just do a scouting run? Why do you have to
Well, that's what he is. He's going to scout.
Yeah.
No, but like,
Yeah.
I was thinking scouting without landing on it. Because he tries to go and scout there, and the guy that gets turned into a gorilla, and instead he just crashes.
They miscalculate, I think.
No,
Like,
it is very easy to make spaceships. It's very hard to make cameras. So these are so advanced that he flies the ship and it crashes on Earth, and his ultra cushions save his life.
Yeah, and so he lands in the jungle in Africa, and he's like, oh, all these other gorillas are here too, but like, I guess the gorilla civilization died out because these guys are wild gorillas.
Yeah. And I have telepathy, and I can tell these girls are dumb.
I like,
Yeah.
he says too, like, oh, humans rule now, which is, I guess there were humans around back then?
They're humans.
Well,
They're
that's the thing,
humans
is,
that
like-
became gorillas so they can fill in the gorilla world, but plot twist that humans took over.
Why pick 100,000 years? Like, that's not that long ago. Like, there were humans. Like, so it's very weird.
I don't think this is the most sound, accurate science or history, guys.
So then these hunters show up and just exposit loudly nearby the gorilla.
We were commissioned by Professor Amos Scott to capture a gorilla.
He wants to turn gorillas into humans, and then
But more than that, what a huge coincidence! Like this guy's like, I need to become a human human to take over the world, and these guys are like, we gotta find the gorilla to turn into a human. What a coincidence!
How about this? The fact that for this mission, he turned into irreversibly into a gorilla. Like, wouldn't you be like, if we have a device to transform me, I'll bring it or something?
Holograms don't exist on this other planet.
Whatever.
Maybe there weren't ultra cushions around it.
So yeah, like we said, there's this guy who happens to be developing a beam to turn gorillas into humans, whatever that means or entails.
Yeah.
And so he gets turned
Into a human.
into a human.
And then the professor's like, well, his brain's not different, so I'll turn it back.
Yeah, so was he trying to beam gorillas into humans that are like human brains too, I guess?
No, what
Yeah.
is happening? Like,
He tried to fully turn a gorilla into human, but the brain is not human yet.
I was trying to think too. It's just like I can't imagine what would be like this professor trying to get a scholarship where it's just like I just want to make guns that turn gorillas into people.
Yeah, I need a grant.
They're like, this is
It's a cannon. It's like a laser cannon.
So then, great scene here where there's a guy peeping him from the window, and
The
he's
professor.
like, "That guy's peeping me again."
No,
Yeah,
but
and he,
before that, he goes to he turns him back into human. He goes, "This experiment's too dangerous for me to continue on my own. I'll change him back, dismantle my machine, then turn my plans over to the Science Society for further study." So this guy's a scientist that can invent a beam that turns gorillas into humans, but not like credible enough to finish this experiment.
or like he gives up after like one try.
One successful try.
And we should clarify. When we say this guy's looking outside his window, we're making it sound more subtle than it actually is. Like basically, like if you look outside your window and some guy was just standing outside and you just
He's
saw him.
staring at him, and he's like, and the professor, while watching this guy stare at him through his window, is like, I fired him because I never trusted that guy. I wonder if he's scheming. So instead, I know what I'll do. I will put my plans for this gun inside my nephew's library book.
As this guy's staring at him, like the guy's not gonna notice him hiding the books.
And I will pretend to return them to the library. So even if he searches me, he won't find them.
We're so many layers deep into the weird reasoning of this dumb comic.
And then the gorilla alien is watching, and he's like, I gotta get those library books. And so the
Okay,
professor
here's
starts
another
running.
thing about DC gorillas. They all have super strength. The writers of DC think that gorillas can, like, do anything
Ben
they
Bars.
want.
Escape any cages.
Escape a cage designed to hold a gorilla.
So you're like, where's this going? Because eventually the gorilla has to get to the library and point a gun at a woman.
So this is great. Where
This
the
is when it
professor
gets,
is
it
like,
amps up.
the professor's like, I gotta get out of here. This guy's chasing me, and he runs into the street and gets hit by a truck.
He's not being chased. He's just looking anxiously while he's walking slowly across the street.
And then the guy who was actually creeping on him is like, aha, he's dead. But I don't find his plans.
It's just 3 books.
Some random guy's like, I guess I'll return these books to the
There's a
library.
dead body on the ground, run over by a car. He doesn't call police or anything. He just picks the books. Like, I guess I gotta return these books.
And then the gorilla rips open the bars, and he's like, Then he goes to the library and
Yeah.
he doesn't fucking have a gun. So this like upset me so much. I'm like, you lied to me. Like the
He doesn't have a gun or a
He doesn't
library
have a
card.
gun.
And
He
he's
just
also
takes the books.
talking.
And yeah, he doesn't think it. Well, he does actually think it because
Oh no!
the
Yeah, he
librarian's like,
psychically transmits it to her because she's like, "It's his thoughts I'm hearing."
yeah, and he says to her, "Hurry, give me those 3 books that were just returned." And then
This is the best part. This is the best part of the whole
has
issue.
a big smiley face on his face, and he's like, "Now I'll be able to regain my human shape and complete my spying mission." And then he crashes his car and dies.
No,
Yeah.
no.
But before that happens, it turns out the guy that was chasing the professor was a good guy who thought the professor was a madman treating humans.
Yeah, what a twist that they were both like, and it's funny too because he thought the professor was a madman doing evil things. And he's like, I need to reveal these plans to the Science Society. They were both going to the same place with their plans. And what I love about this ending so much is the gorilla goes to get into the car because he's like, I can't wander around the city in a gorilla form. I'll be hunted down. So he gets in a car to drive away, and the guy's like, the guy that was telling the professor's like, I better follow him. And it says, speeding outside the city, unfamiliar with earthly cars and roads, the Man-Ape meets disaster on a dangerous curve. It goes,
And it just goes,
lost control.
control.
Yeah, and he just drives off a cliff. And so this guy that was spying on the professor did
He
nothing.
says, "What's that gorilla doing with Scott's books? I'd better follow him and not think about how weird this is."
But he does nothing. The plot resolves itself just like naturally because a gorilla can't drive.
And this feels like you just had to hit that point of the story where the gorilla gets the books and has to take over the world. Because after he got that, he just wanted to end the book as fast as possible.
No. He's become, this futuristic society has become too dependent on their ultra cushions. This is a warning that when you're too comfortable, only disaster
He
strikes.
probably thought his car was going to drive itself, and he just
I see.
No, or
it
he
didn't
thought
work.
there were ultra cushions in the car.
Yeah.
Or maybe they had running out of pages and they had to fucking have it in there somehow.
I was
Like,
I was
where's your
honestly
sense of adventure.
I was very angry that this opening scene didn't happen. Like the fact that he would get a gun and rob someone
For books.
not for books didn't ever actually happen. He just went to the librarian. He's like, "Hey, can I have those?" And she's like, "I guess I'll give it to this gorilla."
Yeah, you see, we compare this to that fucking Jimmy Olsen comic where they got every detail cover right. This one fucked up completely.
Yeah, like this is probably 0 out of 10. This is probably my least favorite book we've ever read on the show.
I like it for the guy that returns the library book like a dutiful servant of the public, and that the gorilla crashes the car.
Yeah.
And the assistant is just like, the gorilla and the plans going up in flames. But where did that intelligent beast come from? What was he planning to do? The world will never know. And it's just the end. And then you see the burning wreckage. He doesn't go try to save him.
The thing about this too is, it's like, it's because these issues used to have multiple stories in them. I couldn't tell how long it was because maybe it's 5 pages, maybe it's 10 pages. So when he drives off the car, I'm like, how is this going to resolve? And then it's over, and I'm like, what?
Dead.
That's what I mean. I felt like they ran out of pages.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great way to resolve any plot you're tired of. You're like, they die.
Yeah.
So now, just like us, you're thinking the story's over already, but no. Sly was like, he called this the sequel story.
Well, it's kind of, but yes.
I thought it was going to be
Yeah, because stupid goddamn Slide said it was a sequel. So the entire time I was thinking, it's like, did that gorilla escape? Like, what does this have to do?
So we are now jumping 3 years in the future to January 1959. Strange Adventures Volume 100.
It was so long in the making.
I saw both covers first that I thought this cover of him in the courtroom was his arrest after robbing the library.
So it's John Broome writing, and Carmine Infantino, the creative team that created Barry Allen, and they are shaking up the industry yet again.
So you see, I told you
don't-
gorillas are so
Yeah,
important.
don't you mean the creative team that created Gorilla Grodd, not Barry Allen?
You are correct.
So on the cover of it, it's a gorilla in a courtroom, and there's a juror reading a thing that says, "We, the jury, find the defendant guilty," and the gorilla's shouting at him, "I'm innocent! I tell you, innocent!"
And the title is featuring the amazing trial of John (Gorilla) Doe.
Now, I just want to say, I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit, and we are recording this at the beginning of the month, in the middle of day 3 of the Paul Manafort trial, and I was into it. I was like, I'm ready to read about this gorilla getting thrown in jail.
I seriously was like, how did he get caught in that first one and end up here? But
No, it's a more subtle sequel. You guys have not met.
It's a spiritual successor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows what happens on the other planet.
It's a spiritual simian successor.
And they have another great first page that is just in medias res where they're like, it's the criminal gorilla. Our orders are to shoot on sight. And then the gorilla's walking through the police precinct. And he's like, no, don't shoot. I've come to give myself up. And you're like, how does it get here?
Yep.
Yeah, so it opens with a traveling sideshow. And one guy's like, hey, Bill, did you buy another gorilla? And the guy's like, what are you talking about? And they got another gorilla in their gorilla cage. And it's like, what the fuck does this gorilla come from?
And that gorilla has superhuman strength, obviously.
Yeah,
So he
and
rips
then-
open the bars and just walks away.
All gorillas have superhuman strength, right? But the thing is, he has super gorilla strength, too.
You're right.
And so it gets on news later. It was on news that morning. Gorilla and R has killed in 2 bars. On the news, the guy's like, and no one knows where the gorilla went or where it came from. It just disappeared. And helicopters are now scanning the area looking for the gorilla. And the gorilla
I love the peeping pages always. When someone's peeping in a window, it's so awkward.
Yeah, so the gorilla, there's a school scene, and the kid's like, the teacher, look! And the gorilla's just peeping into the window, like, hey guys. and everyone's like, the gorilla from the zoo, go away, maybe it won't bother us. And the gorilla just starts stealing their ABC readers.
And he goes, Gabru.
And the police are like, he just took one ABC reader book and left? Like, what the fuck?
And then the next day in a nearby town, he goes into a record shop and takes phonograph records.
Yeah.
And
Where's the
then
book? Then the phonograph records. Sure wish I could figure out what this is all about, says the cop.
yeah, and then the day after, he goes to a heavily guarded atomic laboratory and steals piles of radium, which I love.
First he takes a guard. First he takes a guard and knocks him out, takes his gun and breaks in half.
Yeah, and goes Gabruda. So what I love is, like with the previous story, it sets up where he has a book about letters, he has phonographic records, and he has vials of radium. And you're like, what is this gorilla's master plan?
Yeah. And they have the scientists pondering this, like, radium, what is this all leading up to? What is the secret? God damn it, man. They're like very serious about it.
Yeah, like you wouldn't be serious if a gorilla was stealing radium from
I know, but it's like very like 50s B movie like science.
I don't know.
yeah.
God damn it, son.
I don't think I'd be serious if gorillas were stealing radium.
and newspapers say radium stealing gorilla still on the loose. Police puzzled by strange gorilla deaths, and the police are like confused because the gorilla is disappearing without a trace. And finally, the gorilla just shows up and say, "Don't shoot! I've come to give myself up." And they're like, oh, "A talking gorilla."
He
And
says,
he's like,
I'm ready to stand trial.
Yeah, and then on the news they're saying, and incredible as it may seem, the talking gorilla we put on trial in regular court. The law has decided it is intelligent and consequently morally responsible for its acts.
And then, just like Phil on our podcasts, an editor's note comes down from the heavens and says, Amendment 6 of the United States Constitution reads that the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial. It does not refer to the accused as a person.
I wonder if constitutional scholars would agree. Doesn't say person.
Yeah, it could be a gorilla.
This is the Air Bud precedent. There's nothing in the rule book that says a dog can play basketball.
I like this idea that if we send foreigners, we can send them to like Gitmo and torture them. But like a talking gorilla, it's like, well, he was born here.
By the way, this is another line cover, because on the cover the jury finds the gorilla guilty, but here the prosecutor says, I demand the jury find the defendant guilty, and then the gorilla says, but I'm innocent, I tell you, innocent.
Yeah.
And he's like, Your Honor, let me tell my story, it's all I ask. And so he starts playing
Yeah, the judge is like, I guess you can argue your own defense. You have rights just like the rest of us.
And he says, he says, I had to be put on trial. It was the only way to get my word out. Because, in real life, TV cameras are allowed in courtrooms. That's the thing that happens.
So he says, one day in the jungle, I saw what I thought was a strange bird fly down from the sky. And it's like, it's the same exact spaceship from the other story again.
No, that one was blue. This one's red.
This guy is a regular gorilla, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is a regular gorilla. So this is a regular gorilla. And
What's confusing is the spaceship lands down, people get out, and it's gorillas, but they're like alien gorillas. But
But
look
they're like
just
so
gorillas.
similar. Like
they're wearing spacesuits.
Yeah, so he hops aboard their spaceship while they're looking around.
And so the gorilla is like, what is this? Oh.
Yeah.
He's like, shiny thing. What can be inside it?
Yeah,
Because the gorilla is just a dumb gorilla at the moment.
They fly away, and the gorillas are like, look, or the alien gorillas are like, look, a stowaway. It's a young primitive. One of our kind must be on that planet. It's come aboard. And they take him back, and they want to educate him.
Which is weird because they're literally the same race.
They give him these food pellets that make him grow faster, so I guess it like makes his brain bigger.
Yeah.
But it's weird because he just looks like them. Can he be an actual
Are they
gorilla?
equals? Or is there going to be like gorilla racism where they're like, you're from Earth. You're an
Yeah,
Earth
these gorillas are
gorilla.
very open-minded. They don't like human beings, but they're very open to primitive gorillas.
I do
Yeah.
really like that one of the gorillas has tiny spectacles. It's
Yeah.
cute.
It's the
And like
cheesy
he
one.
apparently like for a regular gorilla learns their language pretty quickly once they give
Well, they're
him
giving
these
him
food
concentrated food pellets.
and
Yeah.
special scientific methods of their own. They increase my brain power.
You know, Phil, it's like when we used to go out and eat a lot, we got smart.
Yeah, brain pellets.
And so he overhears that these alien gorillas are going to try and invade Earth, and he's like, "An invasion of my native world? Not on my planet."
He's a reverse Superman. He's like, these people are so nice, but I'm much more attached to the world of my birth.
Yeah, I feel close to these gorillas. They are gorillas like I am. And still, more I feel attached to the world of my birth. I must save the Earth. And they taught him how to fly a plane, which just seems like a dumb thing on their part.
Well, no, 'cause I don't think they were viewing him as a captive. Like they like really just adopted him.
I guess it's just like us. We think Superman's our friend, but in reality,
Yeah,
Superman's
then
gonna
he
betray us
flies
one day
back.
too. Yeah. So we should mention the planet's name is Agamoron. So he takes the Agamoron ship and flies it down to Earth. And he's like, I can speak Agamoron, but not human languages. I must learn to talk. If I can get to where words are spoken, where many people are, I can learn by listening. So apparently, when he got to that cage in the beginning, he bended the bars and bended them perfectly back. And
Yeah, I don't get why he was in that cage.
No, he says he went to the sideshow to listen to people first.
Yeah, and then he
like-
went and learned the language from the book, and then why did he need the phonograph record?
To hear how it sounds,
But
probably.
don't you just listen to people? That's why it was at the sideshow, right?
Yeah, why was he getting the books and the phonograph? Like, he could have saved a lot of problems if he just stuck at a sideshow and say, "Hey guys, I'm here." To
Well,
talk
he
to
need
people."
to learn how to read because he reveals that he needs to build a gun with the radium to shoot down the Agmoran
Oh, yeah.
spaceship.
Because he learned the Agmoran weapon systems while there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then again in one page, the lawyers as well. He makes the gun, shoots down the aliens, and
Also, they find him not guilty and direct that he be freed at once to carry out his plan to defend Earth. The jury has this power.
and it turns out that the doctors inspect the gorilla and
Okay,
say,
this is fucked up.
This is so amazing.
he has radium poisoning, apparently a non-contagious type, and he's going to live 6 months at most.
Yeah.
And
Poor guy.
they say, and
I
the
love
general,
this general. You gave your life to save the Earth. We humans are grateful. And then he goes, 6 months more to live. General, I have one last request.
And the narrator says, after a special plane has debarked, John Gorilla Doe is in the heart of Africa. And the gorilla, John Doe Gorilla, sorry. John Gorilla Doe, goddammit, I gotta be respectful to the savior of Earth. I was born here, and here I'll spend my last days on this Earth that I helped save. Not only for the humans, but also for my own race, the gorillas. The end.
Wow, he loved gorillas to the end of his days.
You know what? I wish
He was
you.
racist. He hated the smart gorillas more than his own dumb gorillas.
Yeah, he should have honestly helped uplift his the Earth gorillas. Would he want to come to a planet where humans go and shoot gorillas and stuff and take their land? I would have.
This was written by probably white people there, Phil. This was written
not
by
gorillas.
colonists.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So this is like filtered through a colonist lens of like, I'm grateful I saved my own people.
Yeah, we should get a gorilla to rewrite the story in this.
My people's natural state is beneath humans.
This was 1959. You know, India was barely free from British rule.
Yeah, gorillas didn't have rights yet.
But like this resolution of him going into the woods, he doesn't have to be dying. He could just say, "I want to go back
No,
to
it
live
does
with my
because
people."
it makes it just like such a tragic loss. It's a Pyrrhic victory. It wasn't worth it.
And it would if they had the super small gorilla running around in the woods forever in the jungle, that would fuck up DC lore, you know.
Yeah, because that'll be so unlike these.
They literally have a city of gorillas, of super smart gorillas.
Oh yeah, how does he not know?
Maybe
about
he
this?
I'd
found
like
it.
to imagine that he found the gorilla
Yeah.
city, they cured him, and now he's living there right now. It's a happy ending.
Oh yeah, because with this new Agmoran technology, he was able to save.
Oh
himself.
my god, get out of here. When did I say this came out? January 1959?
Yeah.
Gorilla Grodd and Gorilla City shows up in May of 1959.
Oh my god, he is the founder.
He cured himself. He probably so smart. He cured himself and created the gorilla city. This is canon.
This is Savitar! Not Savitar. Solivar? Yeah, Solivar, the good gorilla.
What?
It could be.
What?
So
could
yeah,
be.
so this is canon now, and it's also canon that there's a planet. Now I imagine that the evil planet that's trying to take over Earth, they confused their scout gorilla as they found their scout gorilla that died, and they confused him as the current status quo. So they all became gorillas on their planet too, and they came down to take over Earth. I think it was gorillas again. That's why.
Well, then why do these people refer to the Earth gorilla as one of our kind? Is it because is it because they were gorillas for so long that they lost who they were originally? Like they're like revisionist history. We've always been gorillas on this alien planet.
Question:
Okay.
what happened to the gorilla Agmorans who got shot down?
Well, one of them gets shot down, and then the other ones turn away.
They say another of our ships shot down. We must flee while we can.
They probably
these
burn
guys...
up on re-entry.
Oh,
Yeah,
probably.
they probably got rid of their ultra soft cushions. Foolishly.
Ultra cushions.
It was deregulated, so they're like, we don't need ultra soft cushions.
Goddamn
in
capitalism.
our cars. I mean, our spaceships, our space cars. That's all a spaceship is a space car.
Yeah, exactly. You just start the engine and you just start driving your space car.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to look up one more thing before I say goodbye to our lovely Patreon.
Wait, first we gotta say, what do you guys think of these issues? How do they rank among the other stories you've read? How do they rank amongst each other?
Better than the Jimmy Olsen ones. I hate Jimmy Olsen. I'm not sure about the Caveman one. I think I like this better than I think these are my favorite.
They might be my favorite too.
I still love that. That Superman story had just so many twists and turns. These were close. I feel like if these had been longer and kept up the amount of twists and turns and like the stacking of plots that you're trying to keep track of like this gorilla with its mission to dominate Earth, but he needs to be human along with the scientist that was being spied on by someone that's secretly good. Like had it kept up that for like 20 pages, I would have been super into
Or if he had brought a gun to the library, this would be my favorite. But
Yeah.
since he didn't.
Or if the jury actually declared him guilty. Like, they fuck up all the details of this fucking story.
Okay.
Ryan, what are your thoughts?
So, I think it's great. I'm a big fan.
No, rank it. You have to rank it, Ryan.
Yeah.
Caveman's still my favorite.
Okay.
I would put these above the Jimmy Olsen one.
Yes.
And Man of Steel's at the bottom.
Man, how can you be so rude to Magna Man? He gave his life trying to do a magic trick.
He tried to do an honorary coup against the totalitarian government.
Okay.
He suffocated.
So,
Dressed up as Superman.
I'm introducing a new segment to these Patreon episodes where when we take a Silver Age issue, I want to look at how much it costs on eBay to get this issue.
Okay.
So, the cheapest for Strange Adventures 100, the trial one, is there is a bid for a little over $20, but the cheapest buy it now is
Drum roll.
$35. $35 to get this beautiful issue. Now, the Strange Adventures 75,
That must be much rare. It's 75.
the monkey at the library with the gun, there is only one person selling this issue on eBay. And it is for $60, and it is a very beat up 3.5 copy out of 10.
Wow.
So these are some valuable books.
Yeah.
So if you donate more money to us, we'll buy them, and we'll hang them up somewhere.
Oh my God, I can't.
Yeah, we'll
believe
hang
it.
them up in the Divisive Issues Museum.
That's what we're spending the money on. Silver Age garbage comics.
You watch your mouth.
So, okay.
Maybe we should buy them and burn them so that we don't we're ridding the planet of this plague of Silver Age.
Like
Oh.
Shaq Fu?
Yeah. You pay us to waste our money to burn media.
So as always, thank you, backers. This is you're. I mean, we didn't buy these. Full transparency, but
Yeah.
maybe one day we will, and it'll be beautiful.
If you guys have any recommendations for Silver Age stuff, again, since you're the patrons,
Yes.
feel free to recommend, and we'll probably do them.
Because we're kind of picking these like seemingly at complete random.
We're picking them based on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, other ideas, too, we're always open to. Like, like the Man of Steel one was something Daryl and I wanted to do for a long time. And, stuff like that. We're definitely open for it. So, yeah, let us know.
Anything else, guys?
No, I'm good.
No, that's it. Thank you again.
Hopefully,
Yes, thank you all.
Hopefully next time we'll do more Jimmy Olsen gorillas. I'm ready for my next Jimmy Olsen story.
Hopefully we never read another comic that doesn't feature a gorilla as the main character.
We could do that. That could be a canon because there's enough DC stuff.
Yeah.
A Gorilla Grodd's my new favorite.
We could do the JLA spin-off book, JL Ape.
Is that a thing?
That's a real thing.
Yes, it's
yeah.
real thing, yes.
Which is
I
different from the other crossover, DC Goes Ape.
Oh, well, we talked about this in the past, like Spider-Ham and stuff too, right?
Yes.
All right, so thank you all for listening to our bonus episode. I've been Sly.
I've been Ryan.
I've been Phil.
I've been Daryl.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
That was so sad.
Thank God, Nudie.
Yeah, there you go.